Bannerman, the CEO of Sleek Garments Export Limited. Basically, we are set up to mass produce all kinds of clothing, men's shirts, uniforms, overalls, all types of clothing. Originally, we were set up to export clothing to the US under AGOA, but currently we do domestic orders as well, especially uniforms for hospitals, for schools, for security companies. Sleek Garments Export Limited is a sister company of Sleek Fashion Limited. Sleek Fashion Limited focused only on fashion clothing. We produce mainly my designs, for Paris, Dusseldorf, all the fashion cities. We used to attend shows there, and my collection was always on the runway and so on. Sleek Garments Export Limited is solely for mass production of various kinds of clothing. We also produce clothing for other designers, so long as the volumes are big. Sleek Garments Export Limited also carries out training. We give skills training to the youth, especially young women. Our focus has been a lot on young women, and you find that our factory employs about 90% of women. The employees, about 90% women and just about 10% male. We operate in this way. Sometimes we attend trade shows internationally, sometimes it's locally, and customers place orders. And once they place the orders, we produce samples. So we have a sample room, we have pattern makers, we produce the samples and then for approval.
From the pattern making department, the patterns are brought to the cutting department for us to do our marker, depending on the amount of garments to be sold. We have to be very, very critical in our drawings. You see this pattern that I'm holding, it takes the left and then the right side of the garment. This is a sleeve of a suit. You see, it's a sleeve of a suit, and when it goes this way, when it turns this way, it goes to the right part. So for instance, if I'm doing my markings and I mark this thing like this and I don't turn it the other way around and I forgot and I repeat it this way, it is going to give us one left, which will be a very, very serious mistake when it goes to the production section.
When they are cut, we do what we call bundling. They get bundled, they get labeled and numbered. We have to be very careful with numbering. The first layer always has one for every part, second, two, and so on. This is to avoid what we call shading, because if you don't number, you may think the color looks the same, but if you assemble, if you put a pocket on a part of a shirt that came from, let's say, a pocket from layer 1 onto layer 3, you'll find that there are different shades and so on, so we're very careful about that.
Most of it, I'm with the pattern department. I come to the line to help supervise when we have a huge production like this. Now, first thing we do when we come here with beginners, we give pieces to everybody to wipe the machine, make sure the machine is clean. Now, when you finish cleaning the machine, we make sure you get your hands clean so that you don't mess any article given.
We have quality assurance persons, the staff have been trained in that, and they continue to check quality even from the cutting department right through the line.
I have to check everything to make sure that what we have made out is corresponding with the customer sample. So I check to know the stitching, the label, the placement of the buttons, pocket positions, and everything. If it's not corresponding, I have to send it back. If there's no need to correct it, if there's no need, then we have to recut and product everything all together.
We also give them targets. These targets are very important because when we price according to how many clothing we think we can do in a day. And we know the cost of production within that day, and the costs are spread over those number of clothing. We work out the percentage that we want to earn. So workers meeting their target is so important. We have industrial ironing systems that enable us to iron and take out creases, and when they are folded right, the creases, they remain crease-free until they arrive at their destination. All those things are so important. unfortunately, things have slowed down a bit for Ghana garments, and Sleek Garments as a leading manufacturer. We are trying to revive the whole industry again, and part of this is getting in touch with vocational schools to see what kind of skills that they are giving to their students, and also to open up our factory for further training for such students, and allow them to do what we call industrial attachment, to get hands-on training in addition to whatever they have learned in their schools.
Some of our schools, not just global, but then in other schools, we are less privileged. We don't have industrial machines and other big machines used for fashion. And since this institution has big machines, we want the children to be open to everything about the fashion world, how to use the industrial machines, how to work on speed, and then how to do mass production. That's why we brought them here for an attachment.
Sometimes most of us go and learn fashion all right, but you get home and you don't even have a feel for the sewing. So in a place like this, when you have a variety of people, most people with the interest, and you're all doing it a collective work, you just build up the edge and the love for the work. So that's what actually has helped me so much. Because personally, I wasn't really so keen with the whole thing. It was here that I built my confidence with the fashion and then my love for the fashion.
Na madam ko bia mi ye adwuma ma no na ni sister o ye adwuma wa ha e na o de mi ba aha no ebi wa e bia bibia woni mi yet say e bia watch pocket e bia madam no eni omo mpenifo na omo ha omo ni ye nyina ye fine na say woni bibi so na wo bisa
we think that the Ministry of Trade and Industry, for instance, could consider organizing trade shows in Ghana, because it's very expensive for manufacturers like myself, for Sleek Garments, to travel overseas to seek orders from international buyers. We can also bring them locally. Government should support skills development all round. The other thing also is that we need to look at the cost of finance. Interest rates are just too high in Ghana. They're supposed to be one of the highest in the whole world, which makes it very difficult for manufacturers to access finance, to grow their businesses, to be more competitive and so on. It's a very serious problem for us as a nation.